Hello, my name is Leo and welcome to another day of the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. Let's keep running. So we're still continuing our journey over to Belferia, the island of Belferia, to start that quest. But until we get there, I'm telling all about my my adventures in Thailand and Laos. Today, we're going to talk a bit more about Laos, but there are a couple of extra things I'd like to talk about with Thailand. Maybe I'll just leave them for later. Let's talk about Laos. So I finally got my emergency passport, and that day we went to the airport and we went over to Laos, and a very interesting thing that I've never seen in any other country. I haven't been to many countries. Like before this trip, I've only ever really been to Japan. But you know, in Malaysia and Thailand and Japan, you know, you just show up and you can get like a temporary tourist visa, right? Where in Laos, it's a bit different. You have to fill out this form for a visa, like at the airport, and it's still a temporary visa, right? But you need to have a passport photo for the application, and so so I guess there's like two little photo booth things. They must make a mint, but like just taking photos all day. What a scam! What a fucking scam! Like you need a photo, so instead of the actual airport security, whatever, immigration taking your photo, they get you to pay for the photo to put on the application form. But guess what? I already had passport photos because I had to make some for the fucking emergency passport. So I had them on my pocket, so I just gave them one. Oh, so skip that. But you have to actually pay for the visa anyway. And this is interesting. The cost of the visa changes depending on what country you're from. For example, I forget the exact amount that I paid, but Australians were somewhat cheap. Americans were a little bit more expensive. And then Canadians were like twice as expensive as Americans. It costs more to go to Laos as a Canadian than an American. I don't know why. I don't know what the rationale of that is, but that's what it is. Weird. Very weird. So the same thing happened in Laos that happened the first day of Thailand, which is we took a taxi from the airport. I didn't quite know where he was going, and I was certain that he was just gonna dump us on the side of the road somewhere. But thankfully he got us to the hotel, and I could finally relax for the first time in forever. Because I was there finally. And the next day I had my meeting that I had to do, and met up with people that I had to meet, and then was it that day? No, it was the next day, right? Yeah, it was the next day we got on the plane to go home. The cool thing was in Laos, my company and I already sorted out a driver for us, which is annoying because we paid so much money in transportation in Thailand, which they reimbursed, that's fine, but it's still pain in the ass. But in Laos, we could just call up a driver and he'd just come around and pick us up and take us wherever the fuck we wanted to go. It was great. Except the day that we had to go home, he was late to pick us up. So we just made it to the fucking airplane on time. Thank God for that. Alright, let's talk a bit more about, like, just general. That's pretty much the end of my story. Of course, after that, we, you know, flew. Actually, there is one more thing. We flew back to Thailand, waited in line forever at Thailand, then transferred to a flight to go to Malaysia. At Malaysia, our plane got. Wait, what? Something happened. Yes, you're right. The plane was delayed. Shit, now I can't remember. Was the plane delayed in... I think the plane was delayed in Bangkok. Yes. But then when we got to Malaysia, the plane was then delayed like another 5 hours. We had to wait like 5 hours in the airport. It sucked. And then we ended up getting in Japan late. So the final day of my holiday, which was a Sunday, which I was really hoping to get home early morning and just sleep and relax and maybe record some videos, I didn't because we ended up getting home at like sometime in the afternoon, and I was just tired. I just went to sleep because I had to work the next day. Anyway, so some little things. Well, I guess I can talk about the embassy. The embassy is like, I suppose it's probably true for a lot of embassies, but the embassy in Bangkok is literally a tiny slice of Australia. You go in there, and once you get through the, security and whatever, there's this really nice breeze, and it really feels, like, comfortable. Like, it's hot as shit in Thailand and Laos. But in that area, I guess they designed the building or whatever so that there was this really nice breeze coming through, and it felt amazing. And you go inside the building, and the building is, like, the carpet and everything is pretty much, maybe not as good quality, but you would expect to see this in like a government building in Australia. Which makes sense, I guess. And there was like a Holden car. I think there was some Australian cars there. Here's another interesting thing about Thailand. I think Laos had the same thing. I think it did. Is the toilet hose. What's a toilet hose? So, the toilets, right? They're toilets. I think they have like Japanese style toilets as well, like the squat toilets. But they've got the standard Western toilets, yeah? And then they've also got this like little hose that is attached to the side of the toilet. I'm like, what's this hose for? It's literally a hose. And what it is if you make a fucking mess, use the hose to wash it down. Okay, how about we just don't make a mess in the first place? But sure, whatever. So what that means is you go to a public restroom and the floor is just wet because they've used the hose to wash it off, and whatever they've washed off the toilet is probably on the ground now that I'm stepping in. Thanks. What else? What else can I talk about? Talked about it being more expensive for Canadians than Americans. Oh yeah, I bought a new smartphone. I bought a Samsung Galaxy J1, which I've never heard of before I went here. I did want to get a new smartphone because the smartphone I got is a Samsung Galaxy S2, which is old as shit. It's fine, but I would like it. I can't upgrade it to like a higher Android than I think 4.0.2 or something. Whatever it is, I can't play Pokemon Go, and I can't use the Phantom Pain app, which that reminds me, I haven't actually used it on a new phone yet. So I also wanted to get a smartphone that could connect to a Bluetooth projector, like a mini projector. Fortunately, the one that I bought can't do that, so fuck. But it was cheap as shit, which is probably why I can't do it. It's for all intents and purposes, it's basically just a cheap ass version, a budget model of Galaxy. Yeah. But you know, it's fine. And then I'm gonna give this old phone to the wife. Unfortunately, I have to copy every single one of her 1,000 contacts manually, one by one, by Bluetooth, but one by one from her phone to my phone, because you can't just copy them all over because it's incompatible for some fucking reason. What else? Oh, I tried PlayStation VR. Yeah, I gave it a go. At that big shopping center that I told you about a couple of days ago. They had a VR setup there, and I gave it a go. I played is it VR Worlds? I forgot the game. She set it all up, but it was the one where the person in the VR set is like a monster, big monster, and then up to 4 people can play with controllers and fight the monster, and I was the monster. And it was fun. but it doesn't look as good. It might have been just like she wouldn't like help me like set like put it on my head properly, so it was too far away from my eyes. So I think that's why it didn't look as good. But I mean, it wasn't a great experience. I was gonna buy it, but I realized that it's actually as expensive as buying it in Australia, and that's really expensive too. So maybe I'll just hope that my parents might buy it for me for Christmas. Otherwise, I'll probably never get it. But yeah, it was alright. But yeah, it just wasn't as mind blowing as I thought it would be. Probably not the best game to play, honestly. Like one of those like more experience based like sim things, virtual reality things would have been a little bit better, I think. But whatever. Anyway, here's another interesting thing. Traffic is utter chaos in Thailand and Laos. I told you a bit the other day, I think yesterday, about the tuk-tuk who drove almost exclusively on the wrong side of the road, mainly because the left side was all like blocked up, so he just drove on the wrong side of the road for the whole time, which was scary as shit, but he did it. Like bikes, like little bikes and scooters are everywhere, and there is I was walking like over, what do you call those things, the little pathways that go across roads, overpass, overpass, yeah, a footbridge, I guess, over like a major intersection, and there was a train line running through it, and the ding 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 of the train coming thing happened, right? Cars did not stop. The gates started coming down. Cars stopped, but the bikes just kept going. Like the gates were fully down. The train is coming. I can see it coming, and bikes are still like crossing over the like weaving through the cars, crossing the train tracks. The train was going somewhat slow, but they kept going until the train was pretty much right on them. I was surprised no one actually got hit by the train. It was incredible. Like no one gave a shit. It's like, guys, the train's coming. Now we're gonna go through it. The train's coming. Now we're gonna go through it. It's right there. All right, I'll stop. Madness. The only other thing I guess I can end my talk about Thailand, and if we are still traveling tomorrow, which we might be, I might read a book because I'm running out of shit to talk about, is the king of Thailand died, I think the end of last year, or like September or something last year, and there is a 1 year period of mourning in the country, where I didn't ask anyone about it because I was afraid to offend anyone, but there are like billboards and shit everywhere of the late king, who apparently was a pretty cool guy. I watched a video about him at the airport, which granted could have just been a bit of propaganda, but from what I gather and looking up on stuff on the internet, he seemed to be a pretty cool guy that did a lot of good stuff for the country. But there's just like entire billboards, like billboards everywhere. Maybe 50% of the billboards are bought by companies or whatever to put pretty much the same message and the same picture of the king on the billboard with paid for by such and such company. There was even one going into the airport by train, paid for by the airport. Actually, on that note, coming in near that same billboard was the biggest billboard I've ever seen. It was this big overpass where the airport train comes in, and there's also a whole bunch of highways, and where all the like cars, like you know that big freeway system in Los Angeles where all the cars like the highways go over each other. Yeah, it's basically like that. It's a really prime advertising spot, granted. So there's a bunch of billboards around there, and then there's one in the center, which is probably it's the same height as a regular billboard. Well, maybe a little bit higher than a normal billboard, but it's about 4 times as long. It like goes along the entire bend of this 90-degree corner that this train takes. And it was an ad for the new Samsung Galaxy 8 S8. And the entire the ad itself was pretty much nothing. A picture of the Samsung Galaxy with the words, I think it said Samsung Galaxy 8, yeah. And then it said the word, in big white letters, unbox your phone. Like, the picture of the phone, Samsung Galaxy S6, and maybe smaller letters of unbox your phone could have fit on a regular size billboard. But they bought this giant 4 times the size one. And the other 3 billboards worth of space was just the words, unbox your phone. Whatever. You guys do what you want. But there was an immense amount of love for the late king, which is pretty cool. Alright, well, I gotta go. I gotta work. So, like I said, when we come back, we will, hopefully, we'll be looking at something. We'll be at our destination in Balfaria. Otherwise, I'll be reading a book. But for now, my name is Leo, and I'll see you next time.